Golfers, welcome back to the channel. It's 3 weeks away from the golf season. We've all asked that question in the past. How do I hole more putts? So today we're going to discuss 3 simple tips that's going to help you hole more putts, improve your speed control with your putting, and also lower your scores and take the bragging rights when you're beating your mate. And the tendency is a lot of golfers will set up to the golf ball and their forearms are a little bit out of position. So what I mean by that is, in their dress position they get really tense, everything freezes, and putting's about feel. So we need to be able to feel in our fingers of what the putter head's doing through impact. So what we need to do is we need to grip it a little bit lighter. So what I want you to do is I want you to visualise that you're putting both hands against your shoulders. We see a lot of golfers who move their head too much to the left and too much to the right. So what I want you to visualise is you're trying to stabilise your head, but you're just trying to move your shoulders back and forth. Almost the feeling you're putting your hands against your shoulders, you're just rocking your shoulders back and through. And the question I would ask you, where do you feel that in your back? Do you feel it in the lower back or do you feel it in your upper back? So I just want you to do this drill and just generate or develop a sensation of where the feeling's coming from. So where's the power source, where's the control coming from? You feel that in your upper back. So I'm just moving my shoulders back and forth, I'm keeping my legs nice and stable, and I'm just trying to keep my head nice and stable. Guys, so tip number 2, what we're going to talk about is the position of our arms relative to the club head. So we see a lot of golfers who set up to the golf ball and they set up with their arms just a little bit too straight and too rigid in their dress position. And what tends to happen is when they take the putter back, everything starts to work up too soon, elbows bend, and what happens from there is the handle tends to fall back the way we tend to add a lot of loft impact. So what I want you to think about here is the way we're going to hit the ball a little bit more out the centre of the club face. So what we're trying to achieve here is to try and hit the ball a little bit more out the centre club face. We see a lot of golfers who have more of a heel or toe bias. Number one aim we're trying to do today is we're trying to achieve a little bit more of a centre strike. That's going to help us control the distance a little bit better, and it's going to help us start the ball on the intended line. But we see a lot of golfers who set up to the golf ball and they stand a little bit too far away, weights on their heels, hands are a little bit low in their dress position, and the tendency is the club just works a little bit too much inside to make everything a little bit more symmetrical. So what I want you to do before you hit any golf shot, you need to establish the break of the putt, how hard I want to hit the ball, and also how is the strike going to affect the distance the ball travels. So what we've talked about, tip number 1 is shoulders in a little bit better position. See what I want you to do before you hit any shot, I just want you to visualise that you're putting the club out right in front of you, so the club face is nice and square. I just want you to try and get both elbows and both triceps to push back so your elbows almost touch your rib cage, almost like that position. So I feel like my elbows are locked in, I feel like everything's in a nice relaxed position. We see a lot of golfers who stretch their arms out too much and they just tilt from there. They have too much right arm, the right arm's almost twisted round too much towards the left. So what I want you to visualise you're doing, you're just trying to set up to the golf ball. Obviously we've established the body motion. Both elbows, so both elbows are nice and square, hands are nice and square, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to feel like both elbows and the tip of my triceps are almost touching my ribcage. It's almost like you're carrying a pizza box, that's the analogy. Elbows are almost cemented into ribcage, and what we're just going to do from there is we're going to tilt forward, so I almost feel like my shoulders are nice and level. I almost feel like I just relax my shoulders, so my shoulder blades are relaxed and almost feel like they're pushed back. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to establish a better assembly. So what we're going to do, both elbows into a rib cage, so make sure the putter face is square, almost like feeling we're pushing the shoulder blades back so we can create a little bit more space and less tension in our upper back. And what I want you to do is we're just going to tilt forward from there. So our shoulders are nice and level, our forearms are a little bit more connected to our torso. So we're moving the putter back and forth, you can almost feel that in my upper back. It's going to help us establish a little bit more clarity with our putting stroke. What when you do, tip number 1 is to understand where the motion comes from. Understand that we need to hit the centre of the face to control the strike a little bit better and the face direction. 3, we're going to use the pizza box drill. Pull our elbows in and pull our triceps so they touch our rib cage. From there, both forearms are aligned, both hands are aligned towards our intended target. So my elbows are pushed up against my rib cage, shoulder blades are nice and back. And I'm just going to relax from there. I'm just going to make a nice smooth stroke. The only thing I'm thinking about here is I'm moving the club back and moving the club through on a nice arc. So back, through, elbows in, triceps in, shoulder blades back, set up to the putter, make sure the putter face is lined to where you want to go. Take a nice smooth practice swing. You almost feel like the pressure's coming from our upper back and not too much in our hands. And what we're going to do from there is just going to take the putter back, take the putter through, and just listen to the sound of the ball dropping to the middle of the hole, keeping our head nice and stable and our legs, almost like this. If you've got any thoughts on that video, 3 simple tips to help you improve your golf. Comment below with what you're working on within your putting at the moment and also your full swing. And like the video, share the video around, subscribe to the channel, and also follow my other social media platforms.